You're just watching up energy.
Yeah. Okay, you should be good.
No.
Maybe start just so you get it.
Okay.
It's a delay.
Sure. Redo. Call this meeting of the Brookville Redevelopment Commission of order. Mr. Rudisil, would you please do roll call?
Sure. John Rudisell here. Rita Sieg.
Here.
Victoria Meyer.
Here.
John Estridge.
So.
Sure.
What's the heck? I'm not really sure. Sorry.
John Estridge.
That's something different for you every time.
Yep.
Here. Yeah, it should be on. That's why I don't understand.
Didn't she say
All
she
right.
wanted to be out in an hour? Is that what it is?
All right, now go. See if it here.
Okay,
You good?
Try it again.
let's try it again. Roll call. John Rudisell here. Rita Sieg.
Here.
Victoria Meyer.
Here.
John Estridge.
Yep.
Todd Thackeray.
Here.
And Kevin Kaiser. Are you with us remotely?
Not that we know.
Okay, we'll put absent for now, but he may join us.
All right. Attached, you have minutes from the August 25th redevelopment meeting. Entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion that we approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Yes, unanimous. All right. Let's welcome visitors. Have several different groups here today. Let's start. You guys will take a little longer. Are you all for? Okay.
Word, Stephen.
All right. John?
Introduce myself.
Yes, please introduce yourself and share.
Ron Baldwin, Franklin County Economic Development Commission. Talk about new age of officers.
Would you like to step to the microphone?
Yes, yes.
That's what exactly what you wanted to do. So
Well, under our new technology, I think that's the way we capture.
I wasn't sure you wanted me to start talking. So anyway, like I said, I'm here for the Economic Development Commission. And Bill Shermer was going to be here because of the meeting he has to go to. That's probably going to conflict, so he's not going to be here tonight. With the passage of the OBBBA, which is the One Big Beautiful Bill Act through Congress, they established, I shouldn't say established, they've continued a lot of the tax breaks that were actually instituted under President Trump in his first term. And the latest one is that we're interested in is that they're going to extend the opportunity zone that Brookville was part of, started about 2017. And under those conditions, people are allowed to come in and invest their capital gains so that they don't have to pay taxes on them. It has nothing to do with the town or the county or any other entity actually putting money, public money into it. It's more about providing a vehicle where you have people that have realized a capital gain so that they can basically either delay paying taxes, or if they hold it long enough, eliminate paying taxes whatsoever. And back when we started this, 2017, it was supposed to go until 2028. I was just finished reading some updates on it, and that opportunity zone actually ends at the end of next year, not 2028. So they want to start it again in 2026, with things starting again in 2027. And then they'll have a 10-year window to basically, what did I say? Just avoid paying taxes on those capital gains. So if you have somebody that sold a lot of property and they're sitting there with $20 million and they're going to pay taxes on it, they don't want to, rather than, and some people won't sell the property based on that because they say, I don't want to pay those taxes. So if they do though, then they can find an investment vehicle of what kind. For instance, Valley House here, the hotel basically was generated or built because of that. So that's really the program. And there's not a lot of details come out yet. And the feds are still working on it and the state's still working on it. The governor has the ability to designate places that we can do this. They're going to be based on census tracts. Those are areas in the state that would have a very low income because they're trying to spur development in places that don't have much of an advantage. And it's surprising to me that in Franklin County, if we look at the county as a whole, we would not qualify. But if you look at individual pieces such as Brookville, it does qualify. Who would have thought that Brookville would have qualified as a low income zone? There's some nice houses here, lots of people, got some businesses, but it does qualify. Metamora would, Laurel would. We don't know how they're going to pick them because the state can pick the ones they want to submit to the feds. And they can do up to 25% of whatever total there is that they've identified. But again, the feds are going to go through and use the 2020 census data and the finances to go with that to actually determine these spots. So the reason I'm here tonight, though, is we started the conversation with the Brookville Town Council last week. Does Brookville want to be considered in this program? And Brookville Town Council, if they do, will have to sign basically a letter of support. I think redevelopment wouldn't hurt to have a support letter from you as well. There may be some thought of trying to combine Brookville with Metamora, for instance, but given what I read today, I'm not sure that's going to be possible. So, but I'm not the expert yet until they come out with the real finished date, the details. And the reason I'm reticent of saying we don't know exactly what it look like is that the ARPA money that came out a few years ago, up front, it told us exactly what we could do. As it went along, they made changes, and big changes were made this year because of the election change and new administration, and they actually tightened up an awful lot of things very after the fact. And luckily, Franklin County is not going to have a problem, but there are some other places that will. So the question tonight is, if there is an opportunity zone designated around Brookville, do you want to actually entertain accepting that? And would you also entertain combining Brookville with another entity within the county if that gives us an advantage to have the states tell us that we can do this? So
Could you pull the speaker closer to you?
Sure.
you can't hear me? Is this better?
Yes.
Okay. So why don't you ask me any questions you didn't completely hear what I said, and I'll try to answer it better.
So I do have a couple questions.
Sure.
One is, is it only local money, or can like maybe somebody from Nevada invest here?
Yes, anybody.
They can hide.
Yes, anybody can invest money here. They don't have to live here. Generally, I would say generally, it's probably people that don't live here in many cases, not necessarily here, but if you look at Cincinnati, for instance, they had 30 or 40 of these zones designated within the city limits. And it's interesting, Franklin County, the Valley House was the first project actually finished in that nationwide program. And they've been held up as an example of what to do. In fact, I believe at the end of this month, there's a meeting in Chicago, and some of the people who were part of that are going to go to that meeting and present what we actually did. There was a book written about how bad opportunity zones were, except for Brookville. They actually put it in the book that except for Brookville.
And you're limited on capital investment?
And when you say limit, what do you mean?
Unlimited. If a guy's worth $1 billion, can he take capital gains if it in excess of, say?
I don't know whether there's a limit or not. I don't believe there is. I think it depends on the size of your project. In other words, if I wanted to build low income housing and it was going to cost $10 million, if I had $10 million, I could invest that. But again, we're going to wait and see what the rules actually are. Because the last thing I want to do is say it works this way and then find a detail come along and say, no, it doesn't work that way.
So tonight you just want us to decide whether or not it's something we would be interested in?
Yes, yes. You don't have to do anything tonight. There's no vote or motion required, simply because we don't know what they're going to ask us to do. But we're trying to get ahead of the game, as Bill said last week, and try to find out how many people in the county are actually interested in it. And don't even care about a project at this point.
Who makes the decision what the money will be spent on? Or do they have any say in it? If the guy wants to put his money in this town?
There are certain classes that they had last year, or I mean, this last OZ, but they're more along the lines of how much tax can you defer more than the project itself.
Right, so they just defer the money. We have
Yes.
access to it. We decide the projects.
No,
We don't.
no.
We don't drive that. We just support or not.
Okay, so who does that? Is it the county that does that, or the state that does that, or the feds that do that?
Private individuals.
Private individuals.
This is free market economics.
Yes. It's
All
what
this
President
stuff.
Trump is all about. It's not telling people what to do with their money.
It all falls under the tax code, and that's where it gets complicated for people who try to utilize this opportunity.
Yes.
Um, that's in federal tax stuff.
So yeah, right. So I understand that. What I'm saying is once the money is here,
It doesn't come to us.
So it's in an,
so it's good, it just
Yeah.
goes into a pot then.
No,
Well,
it
What
goes
am I missing?
directly for a project. If somebody partners with a developer,
So they do pick the project.
right. The example
So-
is the hotel, the best example, because the Valley House was done first, hotel came second. And what happened was somebody had some capital gains. They wanted to invest someplace.
Okay.
Study was actually done, said the hotel would actually be profitable here. So that primary investor went out and found 5 or 6 other investors. I don't know the exact number. And they all said, this sounds like a great idea. So they got together, pulled their money and actually built the hotel.
Nick Lawrence assisted us.
Yes.
What we did was fund part or a major part of the hotel study of the
Yes.
feasibility, proving to a corporate,
Yeah.
interested corporations out there in building a hotel here.
It's good investment.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can,
All right, that makes sense. Then
yeah, you can participate
Mhm.
that way, but the whole project is privately funded, privately controlled. And it's up to them to decide whether they can actually make money doing this. And if they do, they, like I said, shelter those taxes for 10 years. There's one line that said if they hold it for 30, the tax burden is actually gone. So if I were to build an apartment complex, invested all of my money in that, held it for 30 years, didn't sell it, didn't try to make capital gains on that. And there's also some capital gains on that they can actually defer as well. So it's very complicated. A few lines you read seems like it's simple, but when it comes to the tax code, as you know, the feds just love to have rules. And so we're going to wait for them to put the rules in place. And then the state, again, the governor has to do this. But now the governor every 10 years is going to do this again. So from 2026 to 2036, and then in 2036, they'll designate another set of opportunity zones. The idea being that we don't put all of our money in one place. All the money doesn't go into Indianapolis. All the money doesn't go into Fort Wayne. In fact, there's a special stimulation for rural areas. And so that is rural areas, anything designed for less than 50,000 people. So Batesville would actually fall into the rural area. Brookville does. And then, of course, Metamora is not incorporated, but Laurel is. So there's some other changes too. There used to be, you could put 2 contiguous units together. And if one of them happened to be, would fall above the income levels they were looking for, as long as it was connected to one that was a lower income, that was okay. Don't think that's going to be true this time around. So.
Okay.
and,
I like the sound of that.
and just to kind of, John, the next closest opportunity zone is Connersville. Then the next one is Rushville. There's none in Dearborn or Ripley that I'm aware of. And it's done by the Census Department of Treasury with the governor on this. So we can't choose. We can just say we do or don't. I mean, it's by your income, when we were doing the Okra studies last year, all that stuff is all wrapped into the census. So I think we still want to stay in the opportunity zone if we get that ability to do it. But Metamora has got to work on their census and do some work there because they're not incorporated.
And the
So-
county will probably get involved in that because they're not incorporated. We do have responsibilities as a county for unincorporated areas.
The county has some work to do.
Yeah.
And I think the commissioners are like, they were for it, for you guys to move forward on that.
I can't imagine that anybody on commission or council would be
Right.
against this.
It's the first time where I've seen a big, like, we're gonna do something in Metamora for
What we
once,
think
so,
of the deadline?
no.
No.
It's,
no.
the next census don't come out till 2026, December 26, where they're gonna be the opportunity zones. January 2027 is gonna be the beginning of where they can take that. We'll know where those opportunity zones are. And then Nick Lawrence sent us a message. It's just like, no, we don't have to do anything right now. Just waiting to kind of see him and just, we don't have to do anything. He's just letting us know that this is
In the pipe.
pipe. Yeah, it's in the pipe.
Yeah.
Roger that.
Nick is the one that guided this process previously for
Yes.
us and for the
Yes.
county.
Yeah.
And strategically chose to ask only for the Brookville census tract
Okay.
for that, and you're fortunate enough to get it.
All right.
Mhm.
Well,
John,
thank
is
you.
there a reason we wouldn't want to do this?
You would not want to.
Yeah, is there any reason you can
I
think of?
think if you come up with a reason, I'd like to have your head examined, because there's nothing here but opportunity, because nobody's asking for the town for any money. Nobody's asking the county for any money. It's only if you, and I've heard there are lots of people who'd like to do these projects type thing. We never hear about them. Well, here's the opportunity. If you know somebody, you get them out there. You
Right.
say, okay, fine. You've got your mouth, put your money where your mouth is.
Right.
Because I'm tired of hearing, oh yeah, why isn't so-and-so doing this? I don't like this guy, but I like this guy. Well, where is this guy?
Mhm.
So this is the opportunity to find that guy.
And these are investors. These are guys that have the money to come in here and do this. And hey, let's bring them in. This is great.
We don't even know who they are.
You don't know who they are, but I mean, even people that have reached out to me lately that I did not even know that will be investing in this town. They're not the usual players. So it's kind of
Yeah.
neat to see some interest in that too.
What it needs is someone with vision for a project that is viable, that can attract investors to fund it. That's
Yes.
what we're looking for.
Yeah.
We're looking for entrepreneurs.
In Bill's discussion in front of the town council, he kept talking about that he had been working with crunching the numbers and so forth. There are no numbers to crunch, so
No.
what is he possibly crunching? You
I
this is-
can't-
This is so new, it's so in the beginning of the work.
I think the numbers he's referring to are how much of investment was made in Brookville because of this. Those are the numbers that he's talking about, because we think that that would be very valuable to let the governor know that we invested this much money, and $29 million roughly, and I don't know the exact number, was actually invested in this little town when it's hard to get anybody to invest $500,000. We got that much invested, and that's been the payoff for it. So Nick will be working with the people who actually did the Valley House and people who did the hotel to figure out what they put in, what the return was. I think those are the numbers he was talking about. I can't speak for him, but I think those are the numbers.
To me, we're kind of, I really don't know anything about this opportunity thing. I've been starting to read up on it to try to educate myself a little bit on it, but to me, it kind of seems like, I understand you guys want to get a letter of, yes, we're an intent or whatever, a letter of intent or whatever.
Letter of support.
Acceptance, a letter of support, but aren't we getting the cart before the horse in this? I mean, there's so much we don't understand, we don't know. To me, I think we're kind of rushing into this a little bit.
Well, I would say if you were trying to put together a plan of some kind where you were being very specific about your details, I would agree with that. But that's not what this is. This is just making sure that the governor's office understands that we thought this was a great thing. We did it. We were the first one in the entire country to get this done, so that they will look favorably down here again and say that this is something we want to give you. And I will tell you this, there's starting to be some noise in Indianapolis that maybe we don't need to worry about Southeast Indiana. And it makes me very, very unhappy. And it's put together by the IU Kelly School of Business. And they specifically pulled out 4 regions that have been put together for the READY program. They said these 4 don't really work together very well. They meant internally in each 4. They didn't mean the 4 together. I'm reading this thing and I'm about to blow a gasket, because all this is about is getting the 6 counties in our region to work together, which we've been doing a very good job of. So I don't want anybody in Indianapolis making a decision in a vacuum. Like, oh, they don't do anything down there. I'm sorry. Where else did you have a $29 million investment with 2 projects that helped the community, employed people, got people to come here? The hotel is a place for people to stay. And if they stay, they spend money.
You know,
Right now-
people living here with the Valley House.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We keep saying that, bring in more housing, more people are gonna come. We're losing population, we're not gaining.
People aren't having kids.
Right, right.
We're not getting any.
Well, the population loss unfortunately is, well, it's unfortunately related to, it's related to job opportunities in the county.
to draw people here.
We've got the lake, the,
Natural amenities.
yes.
They're supposed to- It's the big question.
The average salary in the county for people that work here is $19.91, I believe, per hour. But if you take a look at the people that drive out of the county to work, they bring back a lot more than that. So we're talking about two different economies, really. One is, well, and I believe it's 90% of the people that work in this county drive out of the county to work. So they're bringing back probably more money than you would expect. In fact, the median salary is like $60,000. $20 an hour doesn't get you there. So the people that are making that, and there's some parts of the county, for instance, east of here on 252, I think the average family salary is $100,000. That's amazing to me. But then we go to Laurel and we go to Metamora, where people have less chance of having good transportation to be able to drive to northern Kentucky or Cincinnati or Batesville. And they're very low. And we need to do something to spread that wealth. And so these opportunity zones, in my opinion, are one of our best chances.
I'm not against any opportunities that, to help the town at all.
So are you just gonna keep us updated and let us know with Nick and then come back and tell us how it's going? And I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And I would have to say, I do love living here because
Yeah.
it is great.
Yeah.
I live right in town and you can just walk anywhere you
Yeah.
want, and it's the best library in the whole world. I can't believe how many people I see working in there too. So I mean, as in
In the
working
library.
from there.
Using the rooms that we built in the new
Mhm.
addition. And we'll have 2 rooms for the new
Yeah.
Laurel Library over at the Laurel Community Center in about 2 or 3 weeks. We invested in that because it was a choice of expanding the library, which unfortunately is a bit of a problem. A lot of water runs off Kokomo Hill Road and it runs right behind the library, and trying to build an extension behind the building to build new meeting rooms was
Mhm.
turning out to be problematic. We were really worried about moisture and things like that coming up in the rooms.
Yeah.
And when we were able to get the money from Okra to do the Laurel Community Center, one of the things that came up was they didn't have enough money to do the job completely. And so actually working with the library board, we were able to contribute some money to them. So we now have 2 nice meeting rooms, high and dry.
That is so
And,
nice in there too.
Yeah, and it allowed them to finish what they started out there. So,
So
Well-
clarify for me.
yes,
So the benefit for this is these investors are investing their own money.
correct.
The benefit to them
Yes.
are tax abatements and tax breaks and just basically tax things, correct?
Well,
It's
when you
not-
talk about tax breaks and tax abatements, that's another issue entirely. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't have to give them anything. The point is, and we hope the incentive is enough, although they will come back and ask for them, we know that, is that, they are going to not pay income tax on their capital gains. And that's going to be, their capital gains are usually going to be millions. So their tax bill is going to be high. I personally have never figured out why, if I made a lot of money and I sell something, why do I care about how much tax I pay? But people with a lot more money than I do worry about it. But this is just to attract people to come here, build something that will bring money into the community, hopefully through jobs and things like that, and ancillary things that people might buy. The Valley House, I'm sure, buys things from people in Brookville, and with the hotel is employing people. So it's really just a chance to have small communities like ours that don't have a lot of resources, to be able to have people come here that do have the resources. And as you said, we don't care if they're in Nevada, California, Kentucky, here, we don't really care.
And they're also coming here to make money, right? They're bringing capital in town to invest for the purpose of profit.
So
Pay
is
people's
is
salary.
Franklin County considered a distressed area? Because a little bit of reading I've done on this.
In
it just
general-
Focuses on distressed areas.
In general, if you take a look at census data and things like that, and the economy of Batesville, because part of Franklin County is in Batesville, and overall, we're not considered so bad that we could be one big OZ. However, there are places in Franklin County that are, and in general, I would say Franklin County considers itself to be depressed. And I was told that when I moved here 30-some years ago, we're a poor county. I hear that every year. I don't always think that we're as poor as we think we are, but the county itself, I mean, think about it. You said we've been losing population. Why are we losing population? There aren't enough jobs paying enough to keep people here. The people that are lucky enough to stay here have a car that's dependable. They can get to Northern Kentucky, they can get to Cincinnati, they make the higher wages there, and they're willing to drive that hour there and hour back. I live here because of a house, but I only live here because I could get to the airport in about an hour because I flew every place. So if I wanted to buy the house I bought, and it would take me too long to, like Indianapolis, I would never use the Indianapolis airport because it's like an hour, 45 minutes just to get there. And you got to get there early and go in. So I had Cincinnati and Dayton. We have a lot of people that live here because of that. We used to have Delta pilots that live here because it was close to the airport. And those people do not make a very tiny amount of money. You know, those people make a lot of money. So, but that's what we're after though. Investment, raise the entire level of everybody.
Yeah. And so when it's all said and done, the monetary outlay from Franklin County, if they're chosen to be whatever, to get this, would be zero.
That's right. The obligation would be zero. If you wanted to work with an investor and give them a tax break, you can still do that, but you don't have to. And I think that most of the time, if they've got a big enough write-off for these capital gains that they're going to have, they're going to look favorably on being here and you don't have to give as much anyway. So that's it.
I would throw out, assuming that the opportunity zone is similarly structured to the previous opportunity zone, I would absolutely support that.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
that's good. When we need the letter, we'll come back and get it. If we think that it would be good to get a letter fairly soon, just so we can put it in front of the governor, we'll let you know. So, sound good?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Paul.
Thank you
Thank
for
you very
entertaining.
much.
All right.
Thank you very much.
What did you say?
I'm sorry.
What did you say?
If we need that letter faster than I think we're gonna need, we'll just come back and say, please make a motion, create a letter of support for the project. But we'll need to decide, define that project too. You know, what is this opportunity zone? Where's it gonna be and things like that. So
Letter of requirement.
it's not
No.
nothing's ever a requirement. It's just a matter if you can't show public support, you're less likely to get anything. And that's happened, unfortunately, it's starting to affect the decisions that IEDC is making about Southeast Indiana. I won't go any further than that, but some of the things
Well,
that they've
once you
tried to
work
do.
with Nick Lawrence and he gives us the information that
Mhm.
if you could do that before you come into a meeting, that would really probably help out everything when you come back. But I think that was great. Thank you for sharing all
You're
the
welcome.
information.
You're welcome.
There.
So, good luck with the rest of the meeting.
Thank you.
I'm going home.
Thank you.
The Heberlings. Come on up, come on down.
I'm Dave Heberling.
Rhonda Heberling. And we're here tonight on behalf of Winter Wonderland, which is just a totally volunteer program of a few citizens here in Brookville that have come together to continue what the Peltzer family started inside the park. So we are taking the park and magically producing the Christmas cheer for all the residents to enjoy. And in so doing, the reason that we're here this evening is because currently in the electrical in the park, there is approximately 900 feet from the last electrical box till you get to the entrance of the park. So at 900 feet, the way that the electrician has explained to us that every foot that you go out, you're losing more and more wattage. So we had, prime example would be Four Seasons. They did a beautiful tree and we could not get it lit. If we unplugged two other trees, we could get theirs to light. But we kind of had to pick and choose who got light on any given evening due to the wattage and ampage shortfall or break in the electric. So there is a 900-foot span on the northwest corner, or excuse me, on my northeast, northeast corner, and then southwest is a full 900 feet. So Currently, we have a proposal in those two areas and the other sides of the street as well, that we are looking to put 4 new electrical boxes in currently this year. If we can get this put together in time for Winter Wonderland. And in that span, on the other side, they're slightly shorter, but we're talking like probably 700 feet. So it's still a big, long span.
You have this in your packet, you should, the detail on the.
The proposal is to extend where the boxes are now, another 200 to 300 feet at all 4 corners. So it's not all the way to the end, but it'll support a lot more lights. And the problem is it grew a lot last year. We had over 80 volunteers decorate trees. So in those corners, you've got 20 trees over the distance of 900 feet, and we just couldn't drive it with the power. And then you had the rain and snow made it worse. So we're just trying to make this doable by having the infrastructure set up. So right now, we'd like to put 4 more boxes in. And that's why we came to the council last week and they recommended we come here. Beyond that, additional boxes would be desirable. And we're also planning on buying more lights, because those big, good commercial grade lights that we put along the road are very expensive. And the ones we bought from stores and just put up just don't last.
Right.
Yeah, they are commercial grade lights, which can be snipped and a new end put on if they do, cause problems. And so that's something that can be a quick repair fix and keep the lights going. Whereas, if you have a light strand down and you have to go run a whole new light strand in there, it can take weeks, days, something that would definitely take Winter Wonderland and not make it so beautiful.
Okay, have you had anybody look at the electrical portion of it and gotten any pricing?
We do.
Yeah,
We have.
That's in your pack.
Well, I was just, rather than chasing it down, I was just gonna.
Yeah, we do have a quote. Ludwig Electrical did the initial electrical work in the park, so we went back to him to get a quote since he is familiar with the project. And his quote to do all 4 electrical boxes is $12,070. Now, that is broken down so that you can see the cost on each and every one of those boxes. So,
And it basically extends another 200 to 300 feet. So we're still got a long run, but it'll be much better.
How about the lights?
the lights themselves, for 100-foot strand of lights, we're thinking that was around $1,000 for 1,000 foot of lights.
Okay, and how many total feet do you need? Or is that what you need, is 1,000 feet?
Well, we would probably need at least 2,000 feet.
Okay. So around 2,000.
Correct.
Okay.
And I know we can participate, it's in the TIF area, and I know we can participate in infrastructure development. I'm not clear about the lights themselves.
And just to elaborate on that a little bit, Todd, we as a group have done fundraising projects as well as community donation boxes. So we do have money set aside that we can do that work inside our own committee for the lights. So we're not coming here today to ask for that. It's more the infrastructure inside the park that we're looking for.
Okay.
That was this the only quote that you got?
That is the only quote that we currently have.
And
yes.
they were the ones that
They
had
done it
originally done
Yes.
the electric.
And Doug Ludwig, when we ran into problems last year, he actually came out on site and he brought us some lower gauge extension cords so that we could work to get as much power to those trees as possible. So he's totally aware of the problem. So he
Yeah.
has.
Did you hear that? He donated a lot of his time too.
Oh,
Well, yeah, we'd be 1,500 to 1,800 just to get another electrician to come out and survey. So, yeah, so right there, we save money.
And one thing I want to say is, thank you for donating all your time to do
Yes.
this. I mean, oh my goodness, this is huge, and don't think it's unnoticed, because I mean, I go down there all the time
No.
and when you guys do it, and I know how much it means to people for memorials too, and it is a huge deal. So
We have had several people comment on how people would stop by when we're trying to fix the lights when something's not lit and thank us for doing this and say they drove from Cincinnati.
yes,
Or they drove from Greensburg or something, just they'd heard about our lights and wanted to drive through the park and see them. So that's pretty awesome.
mhm.
So I'm just gonna make a motion that we grant the money, $12,070 for 4 boxes, and we have Ludwig's come out and take care of that as soon as possible.
I second that.
All, that's you. That's you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank
Well,
you so much.
That
Nice
really
meeting you
tickles us
guys.
pink because we have put in a lot of effort. Just so you know too, that we have pulled upon different organizations, different companies that they have donated products to us. So we'll have a 9-foot Santa Claus to greet everybody. We have candy canes that are donated so that Santa Claus can give every child a candy cane. We have the goal of driving people to our website at Winter Wonderland by every day, a boy and a girl here in Franklin County will receive a hand wrapped gift that they go to the website and it will give them somewhere to look in the park so that they're doing like a scavenger hunt
That
to
is
find the gift. And then we're hoping that they'll take a picture and post it on the Winter Wonderland site so that everyone can see. So, and we did have a gentleman last year that he has said he'll be back again to be playing Christmas music. He has a trumpet that he plays and performs the music and has, a stereo in surround sound.
Professional musician.
Okay.
Yeah, and I will add, also, we have 25 have signed up in week 1 of signups, so that's awesome. We hope
know,
it's
but
bigger and better this year.
Put it over the top. We
Yeah.
need sleighs. If you can throw the car on the sleigh.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, that might be an idea. So we'll reach out to someone that has horses and a sleigh.
Charge them.
That would be fun.
Make a little money on it.
It would be fun, for sure.
And if you can just reach out as you get closer, let us know where you're at on the other side of that, with the light side of it.
Okay.
I'm sure privately, many of us would like to help with that.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And
Okay.
thank you for
Thank you.
allowing us to come here tonight.
Mhm.
Thanks.
All right. Daughters of the American Revolution. All right.
Ooh.
Thank you for having us here. We were here in 2023 requesting monies for this project. So I believe you are all familiar with the Stone House project for the Twin Forks chapter Daughters of the American Revolution. And just to give you a little introduction to our group, our regent, Barb Vonderheide, our treasurer, Alice Green, Stonehouse member or committee member, Martha Shea, and myself. We meet every Tuesday to brainstorm and try to find ways to fund this worthwhile project that we've related to you in 23. To not belabor you of anything that you already know. If you have questions, I'd be glad to try and answer them. But to let you know what we're looking for tonight is for $40,000 to complete a $70,000 project. We have 30 of that, and now we need the rest. So if you have questions, let's start that way. Okay, the project in 2018, we purchased the stone house at 168 First Street on the south end of town. It's the only stone house that's left standing of 3 that were built in the 1800s. And our chapter is trying to get this house restored to the period of time in which it was built, to use as our chapter house where we can have meetings. We will invite the community, other nonprofits to have meetings there. We plan for educational projects for students in our elementary and junior high schools. We also have 104 years worth of genealogical records for persons who have looked up their family history and found their patriots from a Revolutionary War. So we have all those records accumulated, plus many other things. We have artwork, we have history books that are rare. We have other collections that have been at the mercy of whoever happens to be the regent of our chapter at that time. So their space is not ideal. And so right now, our regent has it in her basement of her business. So we're looking for a place to not only store those records, but to have access for people who want to do research. We feel like that getting this building completed and open to the public will increase tourism here in the town of Brookville, we'll invite other chapters to our meetings and have events that for Girl Scouts, 4-H or whatever. We have a backyard in which there's room to put raised gardens if the children would like to do that project. Inside the building are two beautiful fireplaces. There are 2 floors plus the basement. We've had the majority of the stonework has already been finished, retucking and repointing using the plaster or cement that was used in 1829. So it fits the period. Our plan for the interior is to restore it with period windows, shutters eventually. But the main thing is to get the interior of the house accessible. So far we have already taken out the flooring on the main floor because it was rotted and not safe. That has been replaced. The north side of the building, which is the alley side on Pearl Street, had an addition that was crumbling and not safe. And we are currently working to replace that with a slightly larger and to make access with a staircase to the second floor, allowing the 2 rooms up there to be used. The larger one will be for our artifacts and our collections. We hope to have internet access and computers. The other room is smaller, and we plan to use that for a bed and breakfast. And in this way, that will bring income to continue to support this house for years to come, plus all of the other fundraising that we do. Just to give you a quick timeline from it, in 2018, we purchased. 2019, we had a feasibility study done by the Keyser Group to make sure it was a worthy project that could be done. In 2019, we received $5,000 from the Brookville Foundation. We solicited letters of support. We tried for the Okra grant, which was a historic preservation grant at that time of $250,000, but we were not successful. Since then, they have taken away the historic preservation offerings on the Okra grant, so we haven't been able to apply. In 2023, we tried for more grants. We finally got money from this economic development group, which helped us tremendously. And now we are looking to finish this house. In 24, we finished almost all of the stonework. In September of 24, we removed all those bad flooring and replaced them. The stonework in the basement, if I had a video to show you, I would love to, because the stonework in the basement is pretty amazing. The whole foundation is stone, and the fireplaces sit on that part of that stone framework. So the James Dean restoration people redid the stonework in the basement and balanced and straightened stone so that it would support that flooring and make it a safe building for meetings and people to come in. We plan to have ADA accessibility coming in through that north addition to enter the house itself for people to come in for meetings. There will be a warming kitchen, an ADA accessible bathroom, and a small space to eventually maybe put a two-person elevator in to access the second floor for those who are unable to do the stairs. What else? I think.
I gave you a copy of the Indiana Historical Society grant. We've applied for that 3 years in a row. It's a $50,000 maximum grant. They partially funded us with 20,000. So that's why we're kind of, we're like, if we don't finish this part, we have to do this one. The 30,000 that we received from you 2 years ago, that literally finished the stonework, and the stonemasons were able to get in there right away and do it. So if you haven't been past that building, it's really, it's 200 years ago, hand shipped stones. It's all from local stone. It is, it's historically a beautiful building. And so, Connorsville has, what is that, the Canal House. Brookville, there's houses in Oldenburg, but Brookville, we don't have a historically 200-year-old house that you could go in and visit, and you can have the school children come in and tell them how it was. This actually, Mike had written a letter back, 5 years ago that he remembers in 4th grade going to this house and visiting it and learning about construction of stone houses. So we just have so many things to use this house for. And
if any of you remember the Paul Bergen family, they lived there for many years. We also, if you have been down past there was a front porch type thing there. We've removed that, and the back addition is gone and just waiting to reconstruct that. Our contractor who is working with us is David Orshell, who is a very good contractor and works well with us and we with him. Electricity is being installed now. Duke Energy is to put a pole there, and we'll have underground wiring to a base, or whatever you want to call it, for access for electricity for continuing to work on this house. We think not only its historical value is important, but the additional tourism that it could promote, the education that we can offer, and the preservation of Brookville is very important, because as a previous speaker said, now there are people wanting to invest perhaps in Brookville, Franklin County. It will enhance the neighborhood in which the house sits. Our neighbors, I think, are very enthusiastic about us doing this, and we're hoping by this example, other areas in that neighborhood will soon be stimulated to make their properties look a lot better also. In February of this year, we had a large exhibit at the courthouse of the Revolutionary War experience, and that type of thing brought several hundred students to the Franklin County Courthouse, and those are the types of events that we hope to have in our stone house when it's ready.
So you're requesting $40,000?
Yes, ma'am.
Will that complete the project, or?
Not the whole project, this phase. Since we have difficulties getting sufficient funds, we've had to divide the project into phases, but that will finish this phase.
Okay.
Yeah, yes.
$37,000. Wow. So we've gotten, we've received Brookville Foundation, Redevelopment Commission. We've had Twin Forks members, $35,000.
and we've spent, a lot of it's the stonework, so it's per square foot, so stonework's like $85,000. This is quite a chunk.
This might be the most organized group.
I
Remember,
know.
I mean, I saw their stuff, I think it was with Glazier, wasn't it? With the architect a while ago. Their paperwork was, they had everything laid out. So, as they still do.
Know what they're talking about.
What can we do, Todd? I mean,
With the stonework, is that this house will last another 200 years. So, and we've had, when we initially received a $7,500 grant. Indiana Landmarks helped us get that from the F. Roisman Family Fund in Indianapolis, and that $7,500 paid for a study. So I didn't bring my folder, but it's that thick of a study of the importance of saving this house.
Here's the study. I brought it 2 years ago and I had certain items. Yeah.
It's just a small part of it.
Yeah.
One of the things that we're trying to promote with this also is what you're trying to do is, you know, historically accurate, you know, restorations and additions and stuff like that. You don't have anything drawn yet, is that correct? Or
We have some things drawn, so our feasibility study was 236 pages. It was done by Kaiser, David Kaiser, and it had all the preparation briefs in there. So with the border, you know, it wasn't just.
here's where my question is going though, is with your timeline and with the need to get a building permit for this, you know, when do you need the money committed to actually build it?
Are you saying you don't have your checkbook in front of you?
Well,
well,
it's not in our spending plan for this year at the moment, but we've got to. Gina's here to advise on how we can amend our spending plan.
It's concerned with your application because it says it started in 25 and ends in 8/31.
August
So I would assume
31.
that should be 26.
August 31 of 26, because the Indiana Historical Society grant that we received.
And it's in here with the right
Yeah.
date further back.
That front page of the application that had 25, so I was concerned that
Yeah.
you were trying to get it all done.
You know what,
one
I
day.
think I did a typo.
Yeah,
The end date of this project is August 31 of 26.
and that's to keep your 20,000 from the state.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you came to us the last time, I was under the impression that you were just trying to restore the building for its historical purpose. But now we're talking about putting in elevators and electric and tearing out all the floors. So the only thing that's going to be left that's of historical purpose is the stonework.
Well, the building itself will have, plaster. So historical purposes.
See you, John.
Thank you,
Exterior
John.
of the building, so the electric that we just brought in, Duke by chance brought electric for free. I wonder how we got that. You guys didn't, but.
Yeah.
But the electric is gonna be not attached to the building, it's gonna be further away, so it goes underground. So anything, so when you look at the building, there won't be light fixtures on the outside of the building. So the exterior of the building will be historically accurate. The interior of the building will be useful. So as she mentioned, an Airbnb, like right now, I have an Airbnb on Main Street in our group. We clean it. Our group got half the money, so that's how we raised 10,000 this year was an Airbnb. It's like, well, we could have that at the stone house. And that will be sustainability of the building.
So you're going to put in
So we-
showers or a tub or
A
kitchen,
shower, bathroom, and a kitchen, and a bedroom. That's all you need.
that's what I do when we go to Michigan. We find historical homes or historical train things, and then that's where we always stay as a family. It's weird, but it is so neat. I mean, it is, and it is like that because you got to be able to stay somewhere. You're not gonna stay in that, but It is a pretty neat.
It seems to me like we're trying to do two things with it. We're trying to modernize it so people can Airbnb in it. We're trying to keep it looking
And appreciate the
200
history.
years old so that people can
What
see.
what we can participate in though is the exterior.
Yeah.
With this facade grant improvement, so we don't have anything to do with finishing out or elevators or any of that kind of stuff.
Doing the interior,
Right.
getting, cause right now we can't put the electric and the HVA systems in the house because the house isn't closed in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But so, I mean, we can participate on the exterior of this thing. But one of the things that this application indicates is that before we grant that, you need to have a building permit and a zoning permit, approved. So that it's already been through those things, so we know that that is approved, your scope.
It's already been
It's
done
already
a few years ago.
It's on the windows.
Oh.
Windows are even,
Oh,
yeah,
it's already on there.
But you can't have a building permit for an addition that hasn't been documented. You can have a permit for, doing some demolition and different things like that, but.
But when you made a comment about new flooring, 200-year-old building is going to have new floor.
Right, right.
But we say,
And we don't.
We're not trying to modernize the flooring, we just want a floor in that building.
That it will support an elevator.
But no.
Well,
But-
they're
but-
talking about phases.
No,
of
Yeah.
doing this.
yeah,
You're not putting an elevator in the building.
Not today.
We don't have anything to do with an elevator.
Well,
Throw
but
that out.
it does apply because
A
you're
residential.
taking something historical that I voted for last time because it was gonna stay as it is. So people could see how they lived. But now you're wanting to modernize it, which all it is then is it's an old building that's been refurbished inside.
That's what the whole historic districts are. Houses that do not
No.
look like they look back.
Well, this
Back in the
is,
day.
they did keep the outside. Yeah, I think so too.
If I traveled, let's say I went down to Gatlinburg because I wanted to see the old Hanson home. And I got down there and I looked at the old house and I know the history of it. And I said, wow, this is really beautiful. And I went inside and I saw a refrigerator and a bed and a kitchenette. I would say, there's nothing historical about this once you get inside.
But they all have electricity, don't they?
No, that's the point. I would want to bring kids in to show how people used to live, how tough it was, where we came from, the progresses that we've made. Not this is an old house, look what we've done to it.
It's always been a private home.
I understand that.
Well,
The
interior, the
Well,
kitchen was there.
If you went to see Tecumseh's homeland in his village and his teepees, but you wanted to modernize it and put a,
But that's not what they're doing.
I know they're not, but
And,
that's the end result.
and we don't have control over.
Yeah.
But we do
And it
too.
was a home.
Money, that's my point.
Right.
For the outside.
This is one of the things where I'll go to the whole community and ask my people what they think of it.
Yeah.
I would give unlimited money to it to keep it as it was, for people to see how people used to live, how hard it used to be.
That's not that's not the, and that's not the goal of this, of saving this house. The house will be saved and it will be looking at the outside like it did, even with, some wanted to, let's put the stairs inside, and it had to be taken out because the stairs were in the wrong place. Grandson lives behind it, he's like, the stairs were in the back and we have pictures, so we're putting that back the way it was when it was built.
I went in there, I've been in there,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah, we're putting that back, and the stairs are gonna be on the outside, and that's why the addition that was basically a screened-in porch to get to the stairs to the top, that is what we're putting back.
Right.
We're putting that back so we could put the stairs back where they were originally. Now, you have to have a bathroom, because if you have any building, there's you have to have a
Yeah,
bathroom.
you do.
I'm just
And
saying, my point is that you're trying to sell me on too much. Sell me on one or the other, but don't sell me on, we're gonna bring kids and say, picture this building, but not the refrigerator. Pretend it wasn't here, pretend the bed and pretend the lights weren't on.
Yeah,
you know,
They're only asking us
No.
to put the outside of the building,
I
correct?
understand that, but the end
Okay, so-
result is more money inside for the
Okay,
purpose
that's not our
of
concern.
education. It is our concern if we're paying for it up, if we're paying now.
For the outside.
Todd might want to clarify that, because that's, I think you're looking a little bit more into it, what we can do. What we can do is the facade
Yeah.
part of it. We can't, we don't deal with the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just asking for the
I
facade.
understand that,
But
but I
I
don't like.
understand.
Yeah, I do understand what he's saying too. I get
The
it.
end result, I mean, why put, you know.
Well, I've restored the old church that we live in, and you couldn't walk on the old flooring because there was nothing underneath of it. So the groundhogs and everything ate it up. So you have to restore that, and you try to get back to that original stuff.
The church down 52 though is that type of thing. That the historical society has buildings that are for that intent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I've never
Mhm.
seen a single person there, except the people that,
I went there as a kid,
As a kid.
in the 5th grade or whatever.
decided not to close it up because we were afraid that they would be, vandals would break into it just
Yeah.
into the interior. So we
Unfortunately,
did
that's
as
true.
much as possible. But we aren't trying to make that house into a home that was livable. We want it to be a building on the facade, but the interior is going to be our chapter house. We're not
Right,
gonna live
right.
there.
That's right. It's his staying historic.
Right, it's a place for their meetings
Yeah.
and their
That-
meetings
that's
that are
what I-
members.
Having a problem. There's just, you're offering too much. I've been in there. It's not that big. You're saying weddings and meetings and.
No, no, no.
Okay,
Initially,
Not
let's
me.
bring this back in.
Back in.
Let's focus this.
initially you did say that the community could have events there.
As
Initially.
in, not the community, as in other non-for-profits.
Yeah, other
It's
nonprofits.
like the quilted bats could go there and they could bring their quilting there. We're not going to rent it out. Other community events, there's going to be, a meeting room is on the first floor. So I don't know if you've been to DC to the, what's that, the stone house we went to?
Oh, no.
The toll keepers
The toll
stone
keepers'
house.
house.
It's about half that size.
Yeah.
They completely stripped it inside. From the outside, it looks like it did before, but inside, they've got this beautiful presentation of how it was back in 300 years ago.
Did you go to George Washington's house while you were there?
George, yes.
And was there an elevator and a refrigerator? See my
Now there's
point?
house.
See my point? It stayed historic.
Now, we have to have ADA
Right.
capabilities because of the law.
Yeah.
You know, every
It's
building has
that
that
we're always
ADA
spraying
capacity,
things.
and
It's like-
that's what we're
We're
striving
always
for.
missing things. They said you have to be handicapped accessible to everybody.
They're dealing with that on Main Street too. Yeah.
So you know, I have tremendous faith, I don't know many of yous, but I do know Miss Shea. And I have tremendous faith in everything she's ever done for this community, so. So I'll probably come over and we'll chat on offline on that, you and I can talk about that. If you
You're
make some,
asking for
if you make some good.
40,000.
Total.
So
See if-
one of the things that this application has in it though, is about having a building permit in hand for that addition. And we also have a requirement in there to have some preservation type approval. And we've tried to tie it, you're not in the historic zone where you're required by town ordinance to have it approved by them. But whether they do it or whether we hire Indiana Landmarks
We
to
went through
review.
this 2 years ago.
Yeah.
They gave all our applications back and they said we're beyond what they do, that we've already.
I know, and
Yeah,
we
yeah.
had conversations with them, and I'm not sure we're on the same, people keep changing, but whether they do it or whether we hire Landmarks who they use to consult on what they approve. That's what we had in place before the historic zone came into existence. We subcontracted with Indiana Landmarks to review and advise on the details of whatever you do for, historical correctness.
So you're saying that a COA is gonna be a requirement probably.
Essentially.
Could they just go to the local one? Could they just use the local one? I know it's that
Yes,
area,
it-
but
it-
I mean,
it-
they're
it's
very
a local
aware of
one.
it. Yeah, I think so.
We, use Indian Landmarks, they come, Brittany Anderson, I don't know if
Okay.
she's still with them, but they come and they advise us. They've advised us.
Oh,
everything
or
with this.
that.
Yeah.
So we're
What-
already using them.
I mean, what I think, again, to be in compliance with this is you need to have that and the building permit. Because here's the trick, is you've got a price here on something that's not documented. So you don't know if what Mr. Orshell has in his head is the same as what the building department will require. So
Could Mr. Ursul have a site plan with, and turn it into them?
Right, that's what he's in.
Okay,
Yeah.
And
Well,
then-
It's already done it with the electrical work, and then after we get enough funding in place, we're gonna get the architectural drawings done, and then with that, go and get the building permit before it's built, right?
Do you have an estimate total project upon completion cost?
Estimate
Oh.
total project, right now, I have total project, right, yeah, I don't know if I put this in here with that, $332,000 is the total project.
That's-
How much we've got done already, I don't have too many of these. How much we've got done already. And, the balance outstanding grant and unfunded amount. So with this, because we don't have somebody giving us $500,000. That's why we put into phases of.
there's something contingent upon those approvals.
right. I think so. I
Yeah.
think so. I think we've done that before, contingent on that.
Yeah.
Gina? Is there some way we can?
Also, that they don't have plans to get a building permit, so are you saying if they did?
They're working on it.
But this funding will help get those plans. Right, yeah, the estimate on the architectural drawings is 7,500, so we have plans, but. With putting the stairs in the back and trying to get it where it was originally, we want a new set of plans, cause we don't, cause where they had the stairs before wasn't accurate, and going through talking to so many different people, they said, try to get it back exactly how it was before. So then they said, get it in this back addition, put the stairs in there. So the plans we have now for that is not include the stairs going up there. So that's why we need a new set of plans for that.
And up top, you're gonna put in, just old artifacts. I mean, is there even a reason for people to have to go up there?
That's where our archives are gonna be.
So if you wanted to research, you'd have
Because
to go up there.
everything that we have, well, I don't know if you know a lot about Brookville, Indiana, and Jars of American Revolution. 1947, the President General was a little old lady, and she was featured in Life magazine, a 16-page article about Estelle O'Byrne that the library just bought her house. And she was President General for 3 years. In Washington, D.C., there was a room named after her, the O'Byrne Room, and the reason it's named after her, I think she gave quite a bit of money for that room. But she was instrumental in getting our Daughters of the American Revolution building in Washington, D.C. is neighbors to the White House. We are right next door. When we go there, we're all over that, right in the all the Smithsonian Institutes, everything. So Estelle O'Byrne was instrumental. I mean, there's been for over 40 president generals. Every 3 years we get a new administration. But to have somebody like that nationally recognized from Brookville, Indiana, is also. We have Estelle scrapbooks. We have silver bowls and stuff that were given to her from different programs and in the United States.
And those are gonna be
Not-
stored there?
Yeah.
And those will be stored there upstairs?
Yes, yeah.
So you're gonna have people come in and stay in an Airbnb that will have access to all that?
Locked doors, no, they would not have access.
Okay.
no.
I will throw out,
Did not consider that, right?
Is the elevator price in here?
No, because we're only planning on putting a space for it.
Mhm.
In case we do have to have it in the future and get a grant for it, but it's not something that I mean, there are a few members that had said it would be nice to have an elevator because I can't get to the second floor.
Oh, sure.
But the first floor will basically be a meeting room type area where the meetings will be, if other non-profits use the meeting room, that's where they'll be. And
How
then-
many people can be in there? Have you had the fire department
it
down
is
there?
Estimated it's less than 50 people.
Is that from the
in the
fire
meeting.
department or is that from
Pardon?
the fire department said that, or is that just, I mean,
It's architect, yeah.
okay.
right, the building permit will limit
Say
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
I'll throw out that by code, you shouldn't have to have an elevator, but I understand people may want
Right.
to.
Yeah, we may never. But, if we don't put a spot for it, that's
Yeah.
where we might get in trouble later.
Yeah.
That, that it's needed or something, but we may never have to put it in, but we're in 2025, we don't know what's gonna be in 40 years or something. When we are not gonna be here.
So if we were to make a grant that was contingent upon, building permit and certificate of appropriateness in whatever form from Indiana Landmarks or from the local, would that give you enough to be able to move forward with architectural drawings and getting things in place?
Yes.
So we don't actually give you the money until you get those things done, but you've got some money that you can get moving with that commitment. Is that okay?
Do you need something in writing from this board that says a letter of intent?
We've
or-
got a needle, you want a nurse?
Yes.
No, we don't need to prove to anybody, we have to spend this 20,000 for the project.
Right.
But we don't want to, but we want to get it done by August 31 next year.
Do we do so much this year and then for the following year, or do we budget it for next year? How does that work?
How much would you need initially just to get started with the engineers and things?
I think they've got enough money to get started without these funds.
Yeah, we have the money with the 20,000 that we're gonna pick up tomorrow from Indiana Historical Society. The drawings, our architect is Susan Glazer in, Batesville. She also did the Valley House things, and she's gonna get the drawings for us. After the contractor, we're gonna get together, cause he's got ideas too, but we wanna make sure, that everything, cause then we have to go back to all the preservation briefs and make sure everything is correctly done with that too.
So could I make a motion then that providing that all the authorizations are given, all the permits are filled, that we will allocate this money for the project?
I think we can.
So I will make that motion.
I'll second it.
Over the next two budget spending plans, because I think this year you only have 10 appropriated for 2025, so the next. spending
Thank you,
plan would
thank
have
you,
to
Gina,
reflect
yeah.
that.
So then I will make a motion that provided everything falls into place, we would allocate that money for the project over the next two spending
Second.
cycles.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
All opposed? Pass unanimously.
very nice, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Yep, it just,
All of us are history, education, patriotism, World War II banners on.
Awesome.
8th Street in May. We got a grant for that and we produced, all those banners for 52 gentlemen that lost their lives in Franklin County.
Yes.
So, that's the type of things we do. DAR National, we have, I'm also state treasurer of Indiana for DAR. And so seeing everything, I travel around the state, seeing what's out there and stuff, and we just want to bring some things local and bring people here.
thank you for that. About halfway through this, as I was reading, it dawned on me, You're not the Historical Society, you're the Daughters of American Revolution. Quick. So I apologize for the conversation, but I'm glad I had it because you educated me and I thank you for that.
And actually, Historical Society, it was Daughters of American Revolution in the 1930s that had the idea that all these local areas around the country should have historical societies. It was Daughters of American Revolution that did that. So we do a lot of stuff. For the funeral, our president's funeral this past year, it was Daughters of American Revolution. Our building is right there. You know, our group does so much stuff for the country.
I was an executive driver at the White House for a while, so I know exactly where your building is. Yeah, and I know about your secret tunnel. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Thank you so
Very
much.
good to see you. Yes, ma'am.
All right.
It's an hour. We gotta go. Thanks, you guys. Thank you.
Got funds updates with you that I will bore us with. Item 7, we already did town, we haven't done 634 Main Street. There is a resolution in here drafted by Andy Bodendissel, both town council, and I think all we would do is endorse that resolution to empty the building of all the junk that's left in there. Then we may get to pay for that once we figure out how much it's going to cost. So I'd entertain a motion to approve sending the resolution on to town council for clearing out of.
I'll
make that motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Passes unanimously.
What's the address on that building for?
632 and 634 Main.
Okay.
Didn't get anything back on the survey.
I have not heard anything from Andy. And I just sent it out this morning too.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, I forgot.
Funding, I don't think we have any. How about comprehensive plan update?
Great. They will be going to the fall October, the Fall Fest at the landscaping place in October. I want to say that's October 10th, 11th weekend. Or the 13th, 14th. It's in October. I can't remember when the Fall Fest is, but they'll be attending that on a Saturday. They're there, they're going to be set up all day. They are also, at that time, they're going to be, in October, they're going to do another steering committee and they're working on more stakeholders. I sent them new people to contact and reach out to those stakeholders. They're still getting all the data in place, and it looks like they're gonna come up with a pretty good idea for the steering committee. All the surveys are coming in. That is really nice. That went well there when that first came out. They're gonna run another ad for the surveys to get another look, see if they can get another 50 to 100, maybe 150, 200 would be nice, but it's actually a pretty good percentage that they were coming up with, over 200 right now. So that's a good number for 2,000, people in here. So as you can tell, I handed them their cards too as they were leaving the door, like tell your friends to fill out the survey. I dropped a lot off. John Estridge is working on that too. So little cards that give you the survey. So that's kind of what we're looking at. The engagement went really well at the football game, even though it was it was just a scrimmage game, but I think they got around 100 from that weekend, which was pretty impressive for a scrimmage game. I thought that was great. So we're still moving on. We have weekly meetings. And the next thing at the steering committee, they'll start with all the ideas that have come in and see what that steering committee likes, dislikes, and kind of, that's how that'll go. They're looking at a November, December completion is what they're looking at. So
That's great.
it's really, I really enjoy working with American Structure Point. They're easy to get a hold of. Just super. It's been really well. It's just, I can't say enough about them. They're doing a great job.
Wonderful. All right. Any questions?
No.
Okay. The last thing on my agenda then is paying American Structure Point. It's the only invoice we have. Was it there?
How much was the amount?
I think I broke up those, vouchers and the two because
Uh-huh.
the 30,000 will be with the Oprah funds and then the remaining was at 960 will be.
Yeah. Okay.
Redevelopment.
So I'll make a motion that we pay.
Second,
I'll second that.
all in favor?
I,
Alright.
It's unanimous again.
Hmm.
Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Well, I have two things. Two things.
I was making a motion to.
Good try. These will be quick. Who's responsible for all the sidewalks in town? And I only asked this because I was coming home the other day and a young lady had fallen and she was in dire straits. And she was beat up and banged up. They had to take her in a squad. And it was, the sidewalk has got like a 2.5 inch gap and she's a little bit older and she hit it and down she went and there she laid. And who's responsible for that?
Property owners.
You're kidding. Is that right?
we have to pay for our sidewalk that's in front of our house.
You're kidding. Okay, well, I told
But
that-
there is a grant process that can help you, I think, maybe, no?
So,
Yeah.
Property.
if they wanted to tear them out, could they tear them out and put grass in?
No, they have to replace them.
Okay,
If it's a connection, is it connecting to other?
yes, ma'am, it does. Okay. Well, that's really stinky. They put them in and then say you take care of it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will let the
I was gonna
homeowners
say,
know.
I'm not sure if the town initially put all the sidewalks in.
This is the old one. You can see all the gravel in it.
I mean, typically when subdivisions are developed, the sidewalks are installed by the property developer.
Mhm.
Okay, well, I will let these homeowners know. I told them I would ask, so, okay.
Yeah, they can contact the office and get them a copy of the application.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. And then lastly, we did not say the pledge of allegiance, but we will end with the pledge of allegiance.
That sounds like a great idea.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
I second
We already
that.
did.
I'll take
Meeting
the blame
adjourned.
for that one.
No.
Well, those ladies, yeah, are, they're